Hello, everyone. On the July the 4th of July, of course, we are going to have an anaretic Venus-Uranus conjunction. And let's take a look at the space-time moment because it's quite interesting. Anyhow, here is, I did prepare a sheet for you. So I gave the title for this particular video, Freedom or Commitment, or Do We Have a Choice at All? And this is, of course, always the issue with Venus and Uranus. Venus is love and Uranus is freedom. And Uranus describes our freedom urges, our willingness to change. Yes, it does describes chaos and anarchy as well. If you have a very strong Uranus, you cannot be restrained. Venus, on the other hand, loves comfort, loves happiness, needs a cushioned life. So when you have a prominent Venus, like on your ascendant, you don't really like hardships, and it's not really important to you to be simply free. You are willing to have a some kind of nice cushion life and say no to freedom sometimes. This time, of course, it is a conjunction. So whoever is born now or whoever has this conjunction knows the dilemma of freedom and commitment. And if you look around in the world, first of all, at the moment, they really try to create huge uh, slave camps instead of a normal life. And the powers that be are no longer interested in wanting us to have a normal life. I just bitched about this in my previous video that everything is turning upside down and they don't allow you to function as a normal human being because at the moment the EU is going to pay a lot of money on arms, on weapons, and NATO just raised the participation percentage to 5%. 5% is how much most of the countries pay for education or something really worthwhile and intelligent, not weapons. But now the whole EU and the member states of NATO are going to give 5% of their national income for the people who are creating weapons. Crazy. That's, if you ask me, this is totally crazy. Anyhow, and I'm asking the question: do we have a choice at all? Not too much, especially because this Venus-Uranus conjunction is anaretic, and at the same time we have a stationary Neptune. And Neptune is funny because at the moment it's in Aries. It will start going backwards on the 5th. It's not going to move back into its own sign. It's going to remain in Aries. There's going to be another 12-year of reality check. Let's put it this way. But this is a militant Neptune, and Neptune doesn't really like to be militant. It's the last of the planets at the moment in the solar system. There might be another planet which they are going to discover. We don't know. There are mathematical proof that there must be some big celestial body at the outskirts of the solar system. At the moment, we haven't spotted it yet. So now we can safely say that Neptune is the last planet in the solar system. And it means that then it is closest to the universal energy. So it's actually downloading for us the universal light, so to speak. It's farthest from of course, the sun as a planet, but it is very close to universal energy. And that is why Neptune is linked to transcendence, transcendental and esoteric knowledge, universal love. It's a higher octave of Venus. And whenever it is stationary, it gives you the chance to look into the issue. So that's happening on the 4th. Both situations are happening on the 4th. And here is the distance. Actually, here's Uranus and Venus at 29 degrees 52. And this is very anaretic. It's 8 minutes of an arc away from moving into the next sign. It will take another 3 days for Uranus to move into Gemini, and it will take Venus only. It's already moving in like 2 hours. It's moving into Gemini, but at the moment it is in its own sign. So it is ruling Uranus. But both are anaretic, which means they are being stalled. They don't know how to proceed. And this is what we are at the moment. We don't know how to proceed. We are just turning our heads and trying to understand what the powers that be want with us, how they are pushing us into poverty, into war, into all kinds of violence, adversary, and all kinds of things. It's ridiculous. And here's stationary Neptune. Yes, almost conjunct Saturn, but it's not going to be conjunct this year because actually the distance between Saturn and Neptune on the 4th of July is 18 minutes of an arc. And Saturn will also be stationary on 17, so 2 weeks from now. And as you can see, it in 2 weeks, it hardly moved. It went 4 minutes of an arc, really. So when it is stationary, the distance is only 13 minutes of an arc, and that is how close the conjunction this year is going to occur. And in karmic astrology, whenever we have a conjunction, and it's not going to be exact, it simply means that yes, there is this need or wish or urge to do something, to do the merging, but we can't do it yet. It's not happening yet. But it actually it is signaling, it's heralding what we could have. And unfortunately, this particular Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries signifies violence, wars. We have a very hot weather at the moment in Europe, I think in England as well. So we have this fire energy that is blooming, and well, I don't know what's going to happen to the crop, to tell you the truth, and to the English parks, because I remember 2-3 years ago when there was a terrible drought and huge bushes, 50, 60, 100-year-old bushes just died. Anyhow, there is a partly anaretic and dissociate finger of fate with the moon, with the exact moment when Uranus and Venus are conjunct. We have a Scorpio moon. So this Scorpio moon is making a quincunx actually it's a dissociate quincunx to the Uranus Venus, and it is an exact quincunx to Sedna. And the dissociate quincunx is in opposition energies. The moon is also highlighting this triple energy, this stalled. I want to change, but at the same time, I want to remain the same because I want to be very happy, and I don't want to move. Actually, that's what it means. Whereas Sedna means creation through dissection. So when Uranus moves into Gemini, and we are going to look at it because it's going to be a new era, really. Although it's not yet the final era. The final era we'll move into when it's going to move into Gemini for good next year. But if you look back at the last 7 years, what happened? What did Uranus do? It disrupted completely our well-being, our harmony, our security, our money, actually, so everything really. So we became much poorer, much more neurotic, much less secure. Look at what's happened. That's what's going to happen in Gemini as well. They're going to Uranus is going to disrupt how we communicate. They're going to have a very strong censorship. They're going to put people in prison for just mouthing different ideas. That is already happening in the EU, especially in Germany, and also in England. If you look around, you will see. And Trump is not enough for this, although Trump and Vance are trying to speak against it. I don't think they are going to succeed in any way. Anyhow, so that's one side, and that's what's happening here. And Venus gives you some sort of chance to put things in order, but Venus also is anaretic, and yes, it is in its own sign, but anaretic, so it's stalled. And the Neptune Saturn conjunction is it's a true quincunx, and the sextile really energetically is between Saturn, Neptune, and Sedna. So Sedna, Saturn, the sextile of Saturn simply means that okay, you can take things apart, throw out what's not working, but then create something solid. And Neptune means in this case, okay, create something that is your dream. So try to create a dream, hopefully, which is not war, something like what I want, what is for myself, quite selfishly, And for this, I need to take things apart and rearrange them in a workable, usable whole. Let's put it this way. And as I was looking at it, because in the Budapest chart, the moon is on the ascendant at Scorpio 1 degree, 1.5 degree, and Victoria is on the descendant. So actually, it created a beautiful boomerang. But in the London chart, we don't have this. But at the same time, I did put here Victoria because it's on a very interesting star, Myra or Mira. I don't know how you pronounce it in English. Sorry about that. But here are the transcendental celestial objects. On the moon, you have Paciencia, patience, Hecate, the dark moon goddess who knows everything, and Buddha, which means enlightenment, and Haumea, which is a Hawaiian creator goddess. She's a fertility goddess who is creating, constantly having children with his own sons and grandsons, and making herself young again. So the rejuvenation energy is there. On Venus, Uranus, then you have astronomia. Yes, let's look up the sky. At the moment, there's a sky mission where a Hungarian astronaut, his name is Tibor Kapu, is up there, and we wish him well from here. And the Pleiades, the home of the creator goddess. On Saturn, Neptune, you have Prometheus, who knows before, Vorasisi, the tyrant centaur, one of the tyrant centaurs, and then Apkaitos, which is Beta Cetus. Again, you saw in the previous, but we are going to look at the set as a complete. I think I have it here, yes, because Myra or Mira is going to be important. And the moon is opposite, as I said, asteroid Victoria. So the people are opposed to those who are victorious as a space-time moment. And Myra, which is Omicron Cetus, and here are the stars of Set or Cetus. Menkar is either the stare or the mouth. It's usually the stare. As Bernard Brady describes it, it's the stare of the celestial veil, the monster that is coming out of the subconscious and bringing something to the surface which we don't want. And Batan is the heart, and then Apkaitos is the foot or the tail. And here's Myra, which is described as the necklace of the celestial veil. It's a very funny star because it is a binary, and it has a cycle of 331 earthly days, but give or take 30 days. So sometimes it's not regular. And when it is bright, it could be as bright as Aldebaran, very, very bright. The brightest is, I think, 1.7, really bright star. But then it completely disappears because it has these dark periods when you can't see them by the naked eye because it's like a 7th, 8th, or even 9th magnitude star. It becomes so imagine from a 1.7 to a 9 magnitude star. It's like completely disappears. A star which should not be disappearing either. Of course, stars can disappear, of course, but they usually disappear for good. But this one appears, becomes brighter, 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 then becomes dimmer, 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 and disappears completely. So it's a very funny thing, and it's like a necklace, like a very I don't know, expensive necklace that let's say you wear a gown or a shawl, and sometimes this necklace is shining out and everyone can see it, and then other times you just cross your shawl and don't allow it to see. And it is at the throat, so you can actually verbalize the ideas that are coming out of your subconscious. It's a very interesting star. Okay, and here's the veil. It's a huge constellation. As you can see, here's Menkar. It is right at the liminal space between Aries and Taurus. Here's Taurus. So it actually occupies the portion on the ecliptic that doesn't have either stars from either Aries or Taurus. Here's Hamal, the alpha star of Aries, and Meshartim and Sheraton are the beta and gamma stars. And this one is already the alpha star of Pisces, the Arisha, the knot. This is that. And here is this is the constellation Uranus, the largest of the constellations. And here's Orion. Think about it. When you look up the sky, Orion is really huge. Now, Set is even much, much huger, bigger. And here are the stars of Taurus with Aldebaran. And here are the stars of Gemini with Alhina, which is on the Milky Way. The Milky Way flows about there. This is the Milky Way. So this is how you should envision it. And you won't be able to see these stars now because, of course, we see the winter constellations at the moment because it's the middle of the summer. But as of end of October, beginning of November, you can start watching these. So you can actually save this picture and then you can utilize it for your stargazing in the autumn or early winter. And as you see, this is then of Kaitos. And here's Saturn. So that is why Bernard Brady suggested the word alignment instead of conjunction, because actually nothing can be conjunct Kaitos. It's so far away from the ecliptic. So that's what it is on the 4th of July. Those who celebrate 4th of July, happy 4th of July to you. And thank you for listening. And we are going to look at the charts for Uranus when it is briefly stepping into Gemini, tasting the water. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.